As you know, I enjoy playing Elden Ring from the beginning rather than continue New Game Plus because I like to see how good weapons are for those who actually just start playing the game. So I start another playthrough, and basically I'm using this build with Wing of Astel, uh, Moonveil, and uh, Carrion Regular Scatter. Of course, I'm already late in the game, so this is why I have this weapon, and some of the other items. But the focus here is on Wing of Astel, which in my opinion is one of the best weapons in the game if you are going with intelligence dexterity build. Now the thing is with this weapon is its main ability called a unique skill called Nebula. As you can see, imbue the Nebulborn's wing with magic to send forth a dark cloud of star that lingers briefly before exploding. This is insane because it allows you to take, well, almost any enemy in Elden Ring. Well, you can take out the flying enemies, but most of the enemies, bosses, the toughest enemies, everything will be easy with this weapon. Most of it. So basically what I do is try to keep distance from enemies and make the cloud explode while they're actually inside it. It's an amazing weapon, probably among the best to stagger enemies and take them down, even the biggest bosses. This allows you to follow up with something else. For example, when I take enemies down, I can continue hitting them with the Moonveil Katana and causing lots of blood loss. Or I can just continue spamming Nebula and just deal damage and maybe take them down again a few seconds after they go up. It also gives me more time to kind of do things in between, maybe using a buff or maybe get a beat and heal. Because when enemies are down, even bosses, it gives you more time to think about what's next. Now the weapon can make all the difference in the world in Elden Ring. We know this, many players use, for example, the Blood Katana or the Moonveil because they deal lots of blood loss damage. So players looking for very, very strong weapons to be able to deal with tough enemies. So managing your distance from enemies is the key here. Of course, I'm using Sorcerer, so I'm not just using this one, so I also have my stuff. But the stuff is good for range, and I need something that kind of good for both being able to hit many enemies at the same time, be able to take down strong enemies fast, and also something against enemies that are very aggressive and I don't really have time to kind of just use my stuff to do some spells because they can easily get me and interfere me with this. Some enemies can be really, really tough and very aggressive. Although sometimes it does work with the stuff, but again, there are many situations where the stuff just won't work and I need to change. This is true in many boss fights, by the way, where I really want to take them down to be able to either follow up with my katana or just continue and just dealing damage with the Nebula itself, with these lots of damage as well. Now keep in mind that the Wing of Astel scales with mainly intelligence and dexterity, intelligence B, dexterity C, and also strength E. But again, when I'm using this build, I'm mainly going with intelligence and dexterity. Now this is also an amazing weapon if you are doing co-op, because you can focus on just taking enemies down quickly while your teammates actually follow up with something, and your goal is just to kind of try not to get the aggro and continue dealing damage to enemies and take them down. So it's a really great weapon for co-op as well. So this is like I'm using it as part of another weapon because I really want to kind of close all the angles when it comes to combat, close quarters, range, an ability to deal lots of damage with consecutive shots, which I do with the katana and with the Moonveil. So when I'm getting into boss fights or whatever, I have things for everything. And even if you really want to break things down, you can even put a Mimic that also have this weapon, and hopefully it will also use the skill. You have no control what it does. And it's super, super, super fast, even the toughest bosses in the game. Keep in mind though that this ability does consume FP, as you can see at the top right corner, top left corner. So make sure to replenish and continue attacking with the Nebula, otherwise the Nebula just won't work. You can see that it's a huge AoE with these tons of damage and stagger enemies super, super fast. Having said that, it's not for everyone, right? There are situations when you need to use something else, but overall I find using this weapon a lot because it makes things so easy against many different type of enemies. If you want to take dragons, it's a piece of cake with this one. Again, as I told you, everything can be taken down very fast. You can see I'm following with the katana, with the Moonveil, after taking down enemies. Something I do sometimes if I want to really kind of have the opportunity to do lots of consecutive shots, hits, and you also have some talismans that allows you to use just that, increase the damage of consecutive hits. So this is actually great when you're able to take an enemy down and you have more time to do those consecutive hits and deal lots and lots of damage. So it's a good complementary weapon to, for example, the bloodloss build-up type of weapons like the Moonveil Katana. Now, although this weapon doesn't consume lots of FP, only 15, you can see when I use it, it consumes lots of stamina. So personally, I recommend using the Green Turtle Talisman, which raises stamina recovery speed. Another item I recommend is this one, either of the two. You might get the two, by the way, depends on the quest line that you do for Alexander. If you eliminate him, you get the cheaper option with just 10% attack power of skills increment. If you finish this quest, you get the 15 one, which is great, and I highly recommend this along to work with this Wing of Astel weapon. Keep in mind that I can still use the ability, for example, using L2 to do the Nebula while actually holding also the scepter and the weapon in the right hand. But again, the most important thing that this one shreds bosses, and if you're having troubles and searching for a very powerful weapon that can visually can take you throughout the toughest bosses in Elden Ring, even the final boss, this will be the one. So again, the key highlights here that is good for everything, most things, sorry, not everything, but you're gonna find yourself with your build using it a lot. As you can see, I'm also timing it, so I kind of create like a fence, and before they actually come to me, because there's a kind of a slight delay until the cloud explodes. So in some situation, like you see here, I just do it ahead of time. Now, of course, if you use Spirit Ashes to take also the aggro, you can really spam it a lot even more. But keep in mind, some bosses are tough, and you can't really just go and spam it and just hope for the bosses to die. No, there are situations where you need to learn how to dodge certain attacks, otherwise you won't be even able to put this move. I also find out that this weapon, the Nebula, is actually great against Commander Nail, because I was able to, when he jumps on me, I was able to actually hit him without actually getting hit with the second attack after he lands. You can see it in this fight right now. But again, with some bosses, well, you just need to get better. You can't really rely on just spamming this one. You need to know how to dodge certain attacks. But once you do, especially the one that actually did lots of damage and you have to avoid them, you're gonna find out that if you evade a few times, a few hits, and be able to use the Nebula, you take down bosses very, very fast. And of course, when you take things fast, there's a less room for making mistakes, right? So I think this can be like a double-edged sword. Some players just rush things too fast and then they make mistakes doing so, rather than taking a bit time. So again, this weapon buys you time, especially when you take a boss down. You can heal, you can replenish, and if you play co-op, of course, you can support your teammate by just taking enemies down. So again, it's a great weapon overall. So here's an example of a fast-moving enemy, which, as you can see here, is going to be aggressive and attack me, but I'm putting kind of walls so it won't get next to me. Even when they roll to the side, they're still going to get hit because the area of the cloud is very, very large. Or let's say the width of this is very large. As you can see, I just don't let him actually get close to me. And some enemies we try to avoid just rolling, but again, when they're inside the cloud, they have no chance. This is another example against Astel. What I try, of course, is just to go down and be close to him. Because once I'm down, I'll be able to use it. And actually, as I told you, it will take bosses down. It doesn't matter which boss is it. Punished by doing so. Well, that can happen. But again, if you survive, you get another opportunity. Well, like I do in this situation, I'm going to take it with both hands. And I'm just going to spam it. And it's going to be down in no time. So again, in every fight you can take a few hits. Again, some bosses are more punishing than others, but again, you can punish more than they punish you. Even tough enemies that if you face them with well, just your melee weapon and try to kind of dodge them, you can get hit very hard. With this Nebula, piece of cake, nothing can touch you. So overall, if you're searching for a very, very strong weapon for your intelligence dexterity build, try Wing of Astel. It's absolutely nuts. Amazing, and in some way it will carry you through Elden Ring much easier compared to using other type of weapons. And to be honest, it's really fun as well. I really enjoy playing with it. Of course, I combine it with also other things, but I'm just showing you videos here of me using it. But I'm also using the katana and other type of weapons when playing intelligence dexterity. But definitely this weapon is on me all the time. So if you enjoyed this weapon review, if you have anything to add, tips, other recommendations, let me know in the comment section below. And I see you very soon in the next video. Also consider subscribing to my channel. Give this one a little like. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. Cheers.